Are you having fun? What if I told you that doing activities and exploring helps you live longer? Let's talk about it.
Are you tired of just getting through the day, especially when you know you were meant for more? I was too. So I started a journey to bring more joy to my life and create a life that I actually loved every single day. Join us as we'll take this journey together, celebrating our failures, being inspired by our successes, and laughing with each other along the way. We want everyone to be able to look at their lives and say, I created a life I love. Hi, everyone, and welcome to I Created a Life I Love.
Hi, everyone.
This is Kristine and Janette, and we hope you guys are having a wonderful day.
Welcome, welcome.
I'm so excited about this month because it's been something that's been such a journey for me. So I can't wait to hear what you guys think. The topic all month is creativity. And we're going to look at all these different ways that it can just be such a blessing and change your life. And I'm so excited about this because I will tell you, for the majority of my life, I definitely have felt that I am not a creative person. Like, let's start there. So, just with the mindset, I definitely, when we play, I think we talked about this in our game episode when we were talking about having fun and playing games. That when I play Pictionary and I draw, right, it's nothing more than stick figures. And even then, no one can ever guess what I'm drawing. It's not good. And so I have definitely felt challenged in this area. And so this is a great topic for me. So, but hopefully you guys will come along with us on this journey and figure out your, information for yourself about your own creativity. So let's start with what's up, though. What's up, Janette?
So, my husband and I have been making it a point to go out like one day out of the week to go explore the food just because it could be very pricey. And oh my gosh, it is just so good. The food out here. We went to a place called Hachi, which is kind of like like izakaya style, Japanese style food, and it was so good and so authentic, and it just felt like we were in Japan. So it was like a good little reflection to
Right?
have, and it was really cool. Like just the presentation of food, the flavor, the umami, everything was great. Yeah.
That's so good. Because you guys were just
Mhm.
in Japan, what, last summer?
Yes,
Last
yeah.
summer?
We were celebrating our honeymoon last summer. So that was an amazing trip. And we always like to reflect on that trip. It's always awesome.
Well, I would imagine, like, I only have gone to Vegas, like, I'm going to say in the usual way I think people go to Vegas, which is right, like, you go on a weekend trip, right? You go on a weekend
Yeah.
with your friends and whatever. So every time I go, the food has always been amazing, but it hasn't ever been the focus. And I guess now that I'm older, now I haven't been back since um, the pandemic. So
Hmm.
we used to
Hmm.
go every year and we went with our friends. We'd at least do one trip a year that a group of us would go. And
Hmm.
definitely the food was, I remember the food always being good, but it was definitely never the focus. I almost feel like it was kind of an afterthought because we were always, we were drinking, we were having fun, we were out at the pool, you know what I mean? All that stuff. But I've heard forever from everybody that no, there's like really good food, not just the buffets, which are good and all this stuff, but there's really amazing restaurants. So I'm planning on going to Vegas, I think in November. So
Ooh.
we're talking about, so again, it'll be much more about, food and doing different things than,
Hmm.
just going and partying type of thing. And I'm really excited. So you're going to have to give me some pointers as to where to go. But I would think that date nights in Vegas have to be so fun. I think you would get sick of the strip, and so you wouldn't go that often. But when you do go, wow, do you have some cool choices?
Oh yeah, and you know what? This restaurant was off the strip, and so a lot of people don't realize that there's so much great food off the strip,
Yeah.
and it's a lot cheaper. But the quality is just wow because things on the strip is so pricey and it's so inflated. It's insane. Like one drink, $25. And I know people are gonna be like, "That's normal." I'm like, "No, that is not normal. A drink. Come on, guys."
I gotta tell you, as
Yeah.
a Gen Xer, I don't know when this started happening. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know when drinks went from like happy hour beers, you could get a $5 pitcher. Like, I know that, like in my
Yeah.
youth, right? We
Yeah.
were getting a $5 pitcher of beer. Um, Wine was like $3 to $5, like $4 or $5, right? For a glass of wine.
Mhm.
Things like that. And I know it changed as I got older. I was in my 30s and 40s, but I was then a mom. I was raising kids. I was a single mom. I was working two jobs. I wasn't going out a lot, right? And partying and
Yeah.
all of that kind of stuff. So in the last couple of years, like my kids are now all out, right? And living their lives. And so now I'm kind of, been able to go out more with girlfriends and I just feel like every time my girlfriends and I have gone out over the past 5 years, the prices have doubled. Like every time they've doubled. And we're
Oh,
now
yeah.
at the point where you're right to get like a mixed drink. Like I'm not even talking on the strip, I'm talking anywhere is
Yeah.
$20.
It's insane.
I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm going back to I'm going back to my Gen X roots and I'm like, there's going to be a flask somewhere. Not saying where. You know, if you know. I haven't, right? Obviously, going through my surgeries, I haven't been able to drink, or it's been very much advised to not drink, right? And I have done that and tried to been, as clean as I can possibly be with my body, getting me through all of this. But I love drinks of all kinds. Like I love non-alcoholic drinks. I love teas. I love coffee. I love um, different type of. Now they have some really cool like poppy or different sodas or things and probiotic stuff and all this stuff that's out there. I love it. I just love drinks in general, all different type of stuff. It does not have to be alcoholic, but I also do like really good wine. I'm so
Mhm.
excited. I just thinking talking about like making your own joy and creating a life you love. I have started saving up for specific live events that I want to go see and taking away money that I've been spending on other things that I really don't need, didn't want. It just, I was signed up for subscriptions or it just was happening. So I've been,
Yeah.
as we were talking last week, being purposeful, right? I've been very purposeful with my money and with where I'm putting it. So it's reflecting who I am and the
Mhm.
joy that I want to bring more in my life, right? Because wherever you put your focus and your attention and your efforts, trust me, that's what's going to come back to you. That's why we always say focus on your own life. Because if you're focusing on anybody else, that's going to be a circle. And so one of the things I did is I finally signed up for to go to Santa Barbara and spend a night in Santa Barbara
Mm.
and see a show at the Santa Barbara Bowl.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
really excited because I've never gone to see a comedy act ever. Like I
Oh.
think I saw some comedians here or there when we were in Vegas one time, but again, like that wasn't our focus. And
Uh-huh.
we are in a group and we're having fun and doing other things and talking and stuff, and it wasn't, I think it was just even at one of those lounge acts. Almost, it wasn't something we went into and really paid for. So I've never done it, so I'm going to go see Chelsea Handler in August in Santa Barbara.
Ooh.
I know, so I'm so excited.
That's she's gonna make you laugh so hard. You're gonna have to take multiple bathroom breaks.
She is funny. And talk about a
Yeah.
person who has found joy. Like, even though, like, you might not agree on her stance on many things, like, whatever, like, again, everyone has their own, and you all have, you know, people who you like or don't like. But the thing that I love about her, other than I do think she's really funny, is that she is living the most authentic and just joyful life that I've seen anyone really consistently do. You know what I mean? Like, if you listen to her podcast, if you listen to it, what she has to say, if you listen to what she's doing week to week, she is living true to who she wants to be and
Mhm.
bringing so much joy and really making sure she's not hurting anybody else or not. bringing any negativity or focus from any on anybody else, and just living her life perfectly authentically as herself, and doing the things she's found, the things in her life that she loves, that bring her meaning, that bring her joy, and she does them.
Yep.
So, nothing like
She's
getting some
fun.
outside inspiration, people.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's go. We have a couple quotes today. I love mine. What's your quote for the day, Jeanette?
Okay, so the quote is creativity is intelligence, having fun. Albert
Oh,
Einstein.
that's a good one. I love that.
Yeah.
And I love that Albert Einstein said forever and in so many ways, and I'm paraphrasing here, so don't come at me. But basically, that imagination is better than schooling, like being creative, like having time to sit still and imagine things and be creative is so important. And this coming from, one of the smartest men, you know what I mean, to be on the planet. Um,
Hmm.
and that was his take. So I love that. Okay. Mine is from Von Miller. He's a linebacker for the Bills, but I wanted to use this quote specifically because a lot of people think about creativity and it's only about art. And that was what I did for a long time as well. That it's only about if you can paint and if you can create something or mold something and, um, the type of artwork. And it's not. Creativity is in everything. And so I love this quote that he says about creativity. Um, let's see, he says, creativity fuels my soul, and I express that in everything I do. For the From the jump steps and speed rushes to the swim and spin moves that I use to get past the tackle to sack the quarterback, to the jokes I tell to break the tension in the locker room, to how I farm my chickens, to how I dance on Snapchat, everything I do is done in my own unique style. I don't want to be like anyone else. I only know my own way. And I just love that because I think that sums up everything that we're talking about today, which is, again, embracing your uniqueness, which we've talked about on the show a lot. We talk about your uniqueness and how to embrace it, how to love who you are, how to use all the quirky, fun, different things about yourself to bring yourself more joy. And I love that he's talking about that. And I love that how he's embraced creativity as well. And it's not just, in no way is it one thing. And that he is able to, again, embrace creativity and use it in connection with him and his uniqueness to every part of his life and brings it to every part of his life. I just love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And that's what we're talking about today. So that leads right into our why. Again, as educators, we always got to give you the why. Why should you care? Why should you give a shit about creativity? People, we're going to tell you. Jeanette, what do you got?
So, in reading the article, don't think you are creative. Think again. A different look at meaning of creativity gives you a bunch of reasons why it's important. So, for instance, it boosts the mental health, it increases your ability to problem solve, improves comfortability with change and failure, embraces curiosity. So, all of that is so positive for yourself, and it helps you with your life and less stress, right? And their definition of creativity is the production of something new and valuable.
Right, which can apply to everything, which is just what
Yes.
we were saying, right? Like, you
Uh-huh.
can do that as an accountant, you can do that as a janitor, you can do that as a mother, you can do that as a friend, you can do that, with anything. Every time you speak or show someone who you are, that is creativity and showing who you are and your uniqueness, because no one is going to have ideas like you. No one's going to tell a joke like he was talking Von Miller was talking about, like you. No one's going to have
Hmm.
insight on your friend's problem like you. And those are
Hmm.
all creativity. That's all a part of creating that whole idea or thought process that was never there before, that comes from you. And again, it all comes back to embracing that uniqueness and being your true, authentic self. So from the National Library of Medicine, I love, they had an article called Being Creative Makes You Happier: The Positive Effect of Creativity on Subjective Well Being. And I love this. So here's their quote. Let me just move this here. Both creativity and well being are essential to humankind. The present research not only replicates the positive relationship between creativity and well being, but also demonstrates that creativity is beneficial to subjective well being. So, what this is saying is how you see yourself and how you see your life and all aspects of who you are is enhanced by being creative and living authentically through how you can be creative, right? And not trying to
Mhm.
create something or copy somebody else or create something that's outside of, what means, something to you, but how to
Mhm.
use your own personality, right? We always say this: your soul was specifically put into your body, into your personality, right? Your body came with your personality. And if you align that and use the special skill set that you have as a person, along with, you know, um, being true to your soul, it is incredible. And you can do anything, which we've talked about. So, the big thing that I want to talk about here is, you know, what I've learned: everyone can be creative.
Engaging in creative activities, whatever it might be, gives you the opportunity to engage in flow, which is just so meditative and such a great state to experience because it just helps you, feel calmness and you just feel together and you just feel like you're in the moment in your body and experiencing something that's so powerful. So whatever you're doing, whatever creative activity you're engaging in, um I hope you get to experience that flow meditative state.
But I love that you said it's also about getting in that flow. And I think we talked about last time that when you have a life that has meaning, that has purpose, this goes right along with that. And last week we were talking about, living with purpose and doing things,
Hmm.
being in the present moment on purpose, like making sure that you are there and focused and being aware of what's going on around you on purpose. And that's the same thing with creativity. When you set aside time and you give yourself moments to be creative, I think that is, again, living with purpose and giving yourself meaning. No one else can come up with ideas that you will come up with in any part of your life, right? How
Hmm.
you decorate
Hmm.
your house is being creative, right?
Hmm.
How you lay out your day is being creative, right? My day is set up from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed now with creative ways that I will find joy, that will bring me
Hmm.
joy. So I have a specific song or music and thing that I listen to that makes me laugh or smile right now every time I get up. I'm not going to share it, but it's silly and it just makes me laugh and smile every time I hear it. I'm sure at some point I'll get sick of it and I'll think of something new, but I have a whole ritual that I have created for myself in the morning that makes me just so joyful. So before I go off to work, I've already had an hour, hour and a half of laughing, of hearing something uplifting, of, repeating and doing my meditations that I do in the morning that bring me, empower me, and make me to feel that joy and know that I can continue to create joy for myself the rest of the day. There's a whole thing I do in the car on the way to work, on the way home from work, that again I have creatively set up, arranged for myself, that brings me joy. And trust me, I'm in California traffic, people, and it sucks. It's boring. I don't care where you live. It's not worse than that. It's not worse than here. And so I had two options, right? I could be sad and pissed off and road rage. And anyone who knows me, well, well, maybe not, but my kids, let's start there. My kids will tell you, I definitely have had my moments where I am just Like, you don't want to be in the car with me, where I'm yelling
Yeah.
at the cars beside me, where I'm frustrated, all of that. And I was stressing myself out. It was horrible.
Mhm.
And so I said, oh, there's got to be a better way. So I've set up a whole situation of what I do um, in the morning, and then what I've created in the afternoon on the way home or in the evening for myself to bring myself laughter and joy. And every day by the time I'm getting home, I'm laughing. Even how bad the
Mhm.
day was, I'm laughing because I'm listening to or I'm talking to, depending on what day of the week it is. I have a schedule with all my systems. Sometimes it's listening to a podcast, sometimes listening to a comedian.
Mhm.
Sometimes, I call a good friend. We have a kind of stand up date that we call each other once a week, but we make each other laugh. We make each other joyful. So, again, I worked with my personality and knowing what works for me and created a very purposeful time that I will bring myself joy in the day. And it's
Mhm.
been amazing. It's been life changing for me to be walking away from my car laughing rather than not, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
The other
Yeah.
thing that I've done that's really fun is I started playing the piano again to be creative, to create
Ooh.
music in my life. Yes, which is something I
Uh-huh.
played for 18 years growing up. I competed, and I did all of these things. I was in competitions and, um, playing at a pretty high level. And I just had to walk away from it from years because I was really pushed that by my parents. It wasn't something that I found real joy in, right? And the practicing every day I liked, but I really didn't like the competitions. I didn't like any part of it. And I'm a competitive person. So that tells you something because I'm very competitive. And I did
Mhm.
not like that, but I loved the journey. So I walked away from it for decades. And then I came back to it because I'm like, I want to create music. And this is something I am good at. And it's been a journey because boy, did I suck when I started. Like, I had to start all the way over. But it's been one way that I'm creating it in my life. How about you? How are you creating something in your life?
So, I have a whole story.
Oh, I love it.
um, so, when back in the day when I was in my 20s, I believe, um, I was asked to be a maid of honor for my friend. And I've never done it before. I've never hosted a party. And I did like, I was just like so overwhelmed. I didn't enjoy it. I hated it. And I was just like, oh my God, it's so much planning. And just to have, be responsible for people that some of the people I didn't know either.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, this is tough. Anyways, I did a horrible job. Let's just put it like that. Some things I'm not proud of. Some things
I love it.
would
All
never
right.
ever do again.
Sure.
But so I was actually talking with my best friend, and I was, we're both good friends to the person that asked me to be her maid of honor, and she just recently had a baby. And oh, it's been a year now, but she just had a baby, and so we were talking, and we are like, we should maybe let's try throwing her a baby shower. And I think she was a little hesitant because of the job that I did, you know, for her maid of honor party. But in that moment, we were able to find ourselves creatively because we both, my best friend and I, are not creative people like artsy or whatnot, but we handmade everything and did all the decorations and all the decor, and we were the MCs. We came up with all the games, and it was just such a great party. And I think like even her husband was skeptical. But we got so many compliments. It was so entertaining. Like I was like, wow, I can do this. I can organize
It's
something
so
like a
cool.
party. So I really enjoyed that, and it was something that like I like completely failed at before. and the second time around, I think we really did redeem ourselves. So it was great. We did tell her that we're not throwing the first birthday party. Nope, that's not us.
Somebody else.
Yeah.
But that's so cool. And I think again, that's what we're talking about, right? That one,
Hmm.
like you are more creative than you think. I think
Yeah.
everyone has been given the creative gene. It's just what you're going to be creative about. And like we said, it
Hmm.
could be anything. It does not have to be, it could be in sports. Could be how you move. It could be how you think. It could be how you're able to see problems and fix them differently than anybody else. That's like an engineer. Like that's extremely creative, right? It could be as a
Hmm.
teacher, right? Like we know a
Hmm.
lot of creative teachers that they go in and they look at the same curriculum as everybody else, but the way they're going to teach it and how they're going to get through to those kids is very creative and very different than just giving the information, which changes
Yeah.
everything. Like I
Yeah.
know so many different creative people in way different fields. The other thing I think is, first knowing you're creative. You just got to find out where. The second thing is that you don't have to be good at it. So
Hmm.
if you want to be creative with something, now I'm not talking about your friend's party because she was relying on you. So that's a little different, right? I get that. But in your life, like if you want to be creative with something and it sucks, who cares? Like my daughter wrote this great article. She's a great writer, and she wrote this great article about that she has different hobbies that she loves to do, and she might suck at them, but she still loves, like we said, that journey, that creative process, and doing it
Hmm.
feeds her
Hmm.
energy, makes her feel good. She's never going to sell any of the items that she's doing, but she doesn't care about that. The purpose isn't that for her. She just loves it as an outlet while she's doing and working on other things. So that's another
Hmm.
aspect of creativity that many times it has nothing to do with your job. And it might not be in, might not be able to be there. And everyone's saying your job has to have everything. I don't think that's true at all. I've worked at many jobs where I did what brought me joy and what I was creative in on the weekends, right? I
Hmm.
Because I needed the job, I needed the money, I needed the benefits, all of that, and that was fine. I found ways to make that job meaningful and ways to connect with the people there that brought me a ton of joy. So I still stayed on my journey, but I didn't force that job to be why I had to be in it at that time to be something it wasn't. And instead, I took my joy and my creativity and put it into other things on the weekend.
Hmm.
And I know a lot of artists that do that too. They work one job during their week because maybe their art doesn't pay for everything, right? And then they
Hmm.
are creative in the evening and can sell their items on the weekend. So I just think it's important to remember that you don't have to be good at the thing that you might be using to be creative. Like I said, when I started back over with the piano, I sucked. I was horrible, but I didn't
Hmm.
care. It was for me
Hmm.
that I
Hmm.
wanted to fill my house with music, live music, and I wanted to be
Hmm.
creative in doing it. It wasn't for anyone else to hear, for any, for any other reason than for myself. Where do you
Okay.
feel you are most creative? Like, where do you feel
Um,
that it naturally flows to you?
I feel that it naturally flows when I'm surrounded with others. I'm a very social person. Like I just like in the moment, and like I don't necessarily um there's there's times when I'm by myself too, and I do feel creative. Like um another thing that I've done is I've listened to music and I doodle like
Mhm.
what I feel the music is giving me, And so that moment, like, yeah, I do feel creative too, but I feel more creative when I'm surrounded by others. It just motivates me. I don't know why.
That's
It's
so
it's
cool.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
I am definitely more creative when I'm alone, like I've said with
Hmm.
writing or doing. I think where creativity flows through me is definitely through writing. Um,
Hmm.
and but I also think I'm very good at looking at a problem and seeing another way to solve it, or seeing a more efficient way to do something. Like I am
Hmm.
a big overview type of person, really. And
Hmm.
I can look at, okay, we're doing this, 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 and this. why. Like, why are we doing that? Which, has gotten to me in trouble in work, when they don't want to hear the question, why? Why are we doing it that way? If they feel threatened by that, which it happens. Um, and it's just how my brain works, that I just ask why, because I have to understand the why, which is why we have it in the podcast. We have a why every episode, because I have to understand why I'm doing something, or why we're doing it the way we're doing it. And I can always, almost always, see a better way, or a more efficient way, or a smoother way, or a faster way, whatever it is, that will work. I think that's a skill set I have. I am not as good and struggle with detail, like really detail oriented stuff. I will do it, but it definitely, I feel, stifles my creativity more. Like, I can do it, and I have to do that in my current job, but that definitely does not bring out my creativity. Um, and I do like to work with a partner. Like, I have a writing partner, and I've really enjoyed our time when we're in the same room writing. But I think it has to come for me after I've already put my stuff down on paper. Like, after I've already had an idea of mine, and then, like, they might come in with their idea, and then we kind of discuss it and go back and forth. But that process of collaborating with someone right away, I lose my voice. So I definitely
Mm,
have learned that for me to be creative and write, I have to hear my voice first and get it down. And then I can work with someone and change it and throw mine out, or take theirs, or combine them, or whatever it is fine. But I have to at least get my thoughts out there, like my creative
mhm,
ideas out there. But I've tried to, I still would love to be artsy. Like, I think that that type of creativity is cool. I just don't,
mhm.
I don't know that I have that. I definitely, I don't know. I don't know if that's where I have creativity, but as we said, we all have creativity in a different way. And
Yeah.
so our goal is to say this week, steps that you can take again is find and make sure you know where creativity does flow for you. Where do you
Mhm,
get inspired? Where do you get energized? Because it will make you feel energy. Like, if
mhm,
you are being creative in a way that is true to you. So it might be, I have a friend working on Excel documents, who we've talked a lot over the last years, now that he knows I'm working with Excel a lot. But
mhm,
he's amazingly creative with Excel and what he can do, and the pivot tables, and taking that data and showing. I mean, he loves it. It brings him energy. It kind of fires him up. He loves to see the final result when he's done, but he loves the process. Remember the journey,
mhm,
and that just brings him so much energy. He's so creative with it, and just thinks outside the box on how to present data, and interpret the data that he has in front of him. And so I think that's so cool. Mine is definitely writing. So our step would be, for sure, take the time to figure out where you feel creative, where it's flowing for you,
mhm,
in sports, in work, in writing, in music, in art. I know a lot of people too are use music quite a bit. We haven't even really talked about that, but there are a lot of creative people out there writing, singing, creating their own
mhm,
music too. So there you go. The next thing is, remember, be gentle. You don't always have to be great on what might bring you joy creatively, right? So
mhm,
some of you
mhm,
might be really good at what brings you joy creatively, and it's part of your job. Some of you might not. Some of you might use creation, separately on the weekend, just as a journey, just to create something, and they're in your closet. Or they're in your desk, right? Like some of my writing, and that's fine. So don't be
mhm,
hard on yourself. Don't judge yourself of what you're doing with your creativeness and your passions like that. Just let yourself do and be, and most importantly, connect with how you feel when you are being creative, right?
mhm,
What the process of creating is what should be bringing you some joy, and energy.
mhm. And then also, if you feel comfortable in collaborating with friends, or, getting some inspiration from others, I definitely highly, reinforce that as well.
What's your moment of joy this week, Jeanette?
So my moment of joy is definitely the exploration of Vegas. I might repeat my moments of joy, but just really going out there and seeing what's available, or just like the different areas and the food. Like I said earlier, the food is great. So just really getting that opportunity, and really appreciating that Vegas does have a lot to offer.
Yeah,
It does. Yeah.
that's very cool. My moment of joy is tea. And so I mentioned earlier, but
Ooh.
I am a drink nut. Like, as I've said, I love all types of drinks, non alcoholic, alcoholic, coffee, tea, all of it. I just think it's so much fun and such a cool way that I use it almost as a ritual in my life, which brings me so much joy. Like sitting down with
Mhm.
my favorite show and having a great, glass of wine, or going outside and spending like 15 minutes just being outside under my favorite tree and in nature to take a meditation moment to remind me of stuff, and doing it with a great cup of tea. My whole coffee routine in the morning, all of it brings me great joy, and I've set it up to do that. And so the new thing is I just got some new teas and I am just
Ooh.
loving them. So I've gone almost all like loose leaf tea now, and I'm trying out a couple different companies, and it has just been so fun to be, doing the whole ritual. And I just love the making of the tea. And sometimes I'm
Mhm.
doing it in a full pot, and sometimes I'm doing it just in my cup. But I do think it stops you, right? Is what I would
Mhm.
say. And it
Mhm.
brings you to the exact moment. It gives you that time to have present awareness. And I just love that. And I need that in my day. So the time that I'm taking to put my tea in its container and then to heat up the water, and each step forces me to take a minute to think about my day and check in with myself and how I am. So I highly suggest trying certain things with drinks you're having, whether it's water, whether it's tea, whether it's coffee or whatever. But when you're getting those drinks, or, creating those for yourself to have, to nourish yourself, to nourish your body, use that time, use that moment to check back in, right? How am I feeling? Is this bringing me joy? How can I make sure that I'm having a great day, and getting what I want with my intention and my purpose for the day?
Yeah.
Anytime that you can find this week, people, to bring yourself joy, to bring yourself purpose, and create, right? The act of even creating the life you love is creativity. We're doing it every day. And I really believe that it is the most important thing you can do on this planet. If you create a life that you love, that energy, that joy, that gratitude, that love spills over to everyone else around you. It is an example for all of your friends, your family, your kids, and it literally, you're creating more joy on this planet, and it spreads. It spreads, and so that's my final little thing, is that the act of even coming on this journey with us, with the goal of creating a life that you love and personalizing your life, um, I think is just such an act of bravery and of obviously creativity. All right, everybody, use our Monday meditation minute. Remember, we give you those little Monday shorts that are to be used throughout the week. And anytime you need to take a minute to stop yourself and feel the joy, in that moment, and get yourself back on track in the middle of the day, don't forget to become a member. You get a free ebook, and then all of our cool digital pages that you can use online, or you can download them to take you a little deeper on this journey with us that we're using them. And next week, what's going on next week, Jeanette?
We are going to talk about discovering your hobbies and interests.
I love this.
Just
Yeah. You guys are
still
going to,
on the creative wagon.
I love it. Yeah. All month on creativity. And I love this one because this is fun. We're going to get you out there. This will be good. All right, everybody, have a fantastic week, and go out there and create a life you love.
Bye, everyone.